Hi there, it's Michael Greenwood. Right, so in this video, I'm going to be running through this book. It is Go for No. It's a book that I read years and years ago. It's really helped me with my business and my sales. And I just wanted to share, because a lot of people in business, a lot of people go out of business because they can't sell, and they're just they're afraid, really, essentially, of picking up the phone or sending an email because of the fear of rejection. So this book is all about going for no. So going for that failure, that perceived failure or rejection, rather than focusing on the yes. Because if you go for the yeses and you get a no, you're kind of disappointed. Like emotionally, it's a bit hard to take unless you flip, your mindset. So that emotional relationship to rejection is really the main limiter, in my opinion, to sales, and that's the main takeaway and premise that I got from this book, really. So the core ideas and how to apply them. I'm going to go through a list now. So as the subtitle suggests, yes is the destination and no is how you get there. So treat no as progress rather than a stop sign. A lot of people will pick up the phone with good intentions. Yeah, I'm going to do some cold calling today, and they'll get a no and they'll feel terrible because it's hard to take. They'll take it personally, basically, and it's not something to be taken personally. So you can detach your self-worth from these outcomes and just focus on the inputs. And then when you get a no, you're thankful for it. Oh yeah, that's a no. That's just another no to get in a yes. That's absolutely fine. So you're treating no as progress rather than a stop sign. And you can track your no's like reps in the gym as well. So when you go to the gym, you're not going to get, um, you know, all muscly and all fit straight away, are you? It's going to take so much exertion and so much effort and so many inputs to actually get to the next level. And it's like that with sales, really. Unless you're pitching your offers to people, it's a numbers game, really. Then and if you just say if you were just waiting for the phone to ring or waiting for word of mouth, which is kind of limited, and it can only take you so far. It's not scalable. Then you're not gonna get progress and scale your business and grow your business as much as you want to, unless it's your desire or aim to, have a small business. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Um, but if you actually want to grow a business, or at least want to, get more sales in, let's say you've got no business in, or very little business in, you at least want to, replace your job. You want to maybe go part time with your job and increase your side hustle or whatever, your side business. Then you've got to be able to sell. So what I do is I set no goals, not just yes goals. For example, let's say this week you say you're gonna collect 20 no's, yeah. So you're gonna get 20 people said no. So it's kind of like counterintuitive, isn't it? And as a result of this, you'll actually surface more yeses. You'll get more yeses as a result of just like going for more no's. So it really is like a flip of the mindset. It's quite clever. So you want to have, rather than like a success KPI, success quota, you want to have like a failure rate, like a desired failure rate. Sounds really weird, doesn't it? But like a failure quota, basically. So make this failure and make your failure a metric. So how many no's a day, how many proposals declined, how many people tell you to F off or whatever, experiments that just don't pan out, like A/B experiments, A/B testing, things like that, and then deliberately raise that quota. So rather than going for 20 no's a week, you can go for 40 no's a week and just increase it, increase your rate of failure, fail forward. Um, and like I said earlier, detach self-worth from the outcomes as well. Um, so your job as an entrepreneur, business owner, freelancer, whatever, is activity. It's activity levels, input, showing up daily. Um, your prospect know is the data. It's not a verdict on you. So detach your self-worth from these outcomes and just focus on inputs, focus on getting those no's, and then it's just impossible not to get yeses from there. If you're not getting yeses, you just haven't done enough no's yet. And then it's kind of like five levels of failure, which don't call them failure, just call them progression. Call failure progression. Level one is a willingness to fail, so a desire to fail. Um, so level two, actually wanting to fail, so actually coming out of your comfort zone and seeking out discomfort and actually wanting to challenge yourself, things that you haven't done before. If you've never picked up the phone and done a cold call, I'm not saying cold calling is the only method. It's just one of the quickest ways of getting business in. Because you rejected failure, then it's going to feel very uncomfortable the first time you do it. But then you can start to do it bigger and faster. So level three is about failing bigger, failing faster. Level four, once you get to that, is failing exponentially, so you can add leverage. So other people, train other people, sales team, and just increase your volume. Basically, you increase your volume. And level five is it's failing forward. So it's basically taking the learning from the failure. So what am I learning from this? Why did they say no? Yeah. Could he make me pitch better, my message, had the wrong ICP, ideal customer profile? Um, so why does this work in terms of psychology? So think about exposure therapy, how that works. So you're exposed to the stimuli, which is kind of making you uncomfortable, yeah, and that actually being in proximity to that. So actually picking up the phone, which you're fearful of because you're scared of that that failure, really, it's false expectations appearing real. You're actually exposing yourself to it. Then those repeated kind of low stakes rejections, because it's low stakes, isn't it? Because what's the worst that can happen with somebody saying no? You're not going to die from somebody saying no when your phone opens and say, "No, I'm not interested, mate," or "I'm good, thanks." Yeah. Well, what are you actually scared of? Because as human beings, uh, we've got fight or flight. Yeah, which the human brain is designed to protect us essentially. Um, so that's what we're fearing. So it's like we always make out what we're fearing to be worse than it is. So it's not as bad as your brain is making it out to be. So what's the worst? You pick up the phone, somebody says no. It's fine. You'll live to fight another day. Um, so focusing on activity. When you focus on activity levels, and you focus on the nose, it's kind of like gives you self confidence. When you show up daily, you put the inputs in. You're actually in control of the inputs. You've got an internal loss of control. We call it in psychology. Whereas if you have an external locus of control, it's like saying, "Oh, I've got no business. Nobody's phoning me," that kind of thing. But if you actually take action and put inputs in, as in dial and speak to people and make offers, then and don't even focus on the outcome, just focus on the inputs that you're going to speak to a bunch of people. You'll probably get no most of the time, statistically, but then every no will eventually there'll be a yes around the corner. So this kind of protects your motivation when you reframe it in this kind of way. So reframe the way you see things, your paradigm, your perspective, your kind of worldview, really, in terms of how you see things. A lot of people go through their life and they're scared of taking a chance. And a lot of people would have been had this instilled upon them, in terms of limiting beliefs and whatnot as well. So it's kind of reprogramming as well and saying, look, what is the worst that can happen? If I get a no, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to go for no's. I'm not afraid of failure. Failure is just an opportunity to learn, and that's the way you can look at it. So what's some kind of limitations and things to watch out for when you're looking at these kind of things? So um, let's say kind of your targeting your offer or or something your messaging is kind of weak, you can actually get into a rut where you're actually going for no's, but you've had quite a few no's and you're actually not progressing. So you've got to make sure that you've got clarity on your ICP, your ideal customer profile, that you're actually targeting well, that you're actually going through message testing. So you're doing A/B testing. So let's say you've got 100 no's, there might actually be it might actually be a bad offer, or it might actually be bad messaging, or you might be speaking to the wrong people, or your data might not be quality, and things like that. So bear that in mind as well. That quality does really matter. So don't let your go for no strategy be more like a spray and pray or scattergun kind of thing. So you use some in marketing, we use these short feedback loops to improve our hypotheses and between attempts. So we could A/B testing, multivariate testing, for example, 100 pieces of traffic go one way, 100 go to another landing page, that kind of thing. Just to give you an idea. So test your scripts, your tonality matters as well, all that kind of thing. So obviously, your quality really does matter. Um, Now, in terms of, there's other things in sales as well, which might be outside of the scope of this, but let's say somebody just doesn't like you, just doesn't like your voice, so you can have a buddy who, they can call them instead. So those are things in sales as well. But that might, like I said, it might be a bit heavy for this session if you're just kind of getting started in sales. So in sales, we can have buddies. So look, if you're hitting a dead wall, a brick wall with somebody, with a prospect, you can get a buddy to phone them, and they just might have a different approach and stuff like that. So there is a point where you should kind of ease off and all that kind of thing. Um, so yeah. Um, Another thing is, you've got a consistency over time is the key. So intensity and consistency. But a lot of people start off saying, right, I'm going to do 200 dials a day, and they can't keep up the effort. So really do something that I kind of hate the word realistic, in terms of smart objects, because I think that you can limit yourself by being realistic. And I think you need to be almost like unrealistic with what you can do, so you can come out your comfort zone and stuff like that. But burnout is real, and often burnout, in my opinion, is actually running out of steam, but then having to start the momentum again, and that can be really hard and kind of disheartening. So just going and chasing those without kind of definitiveness of purpose can kind of be a limitation as well, something to watch out for. So I would say having variety in your life. I really don't like the work-life balance kind of, um, the way that it's almost like work separated from life. I think, it's intertwined. Um, but definitely do things like meditation, looking after yourself, going to the gym, all that kind of thing, spending time with family, good nutrition, all that kind of thing. Don't just do this, if you know what I mean. And that's just kind of common sense. So I'm now going to give you a kind of practical playbook over the next month. If you decide to take action today. First thing to do is write down a tight ICP. So you may know this as a target audience, so ideal customer profile. So this is who you're going to ask for a sale, basically, or a meeting, or have a coffee with, or something like that, a Zoom call or whatever, discovery call, clarity call. So tighten up your ICP. Who are you targeting? If you're trying to market to everybody, you're marketing to nobody. It's basic marketing. So write down two or three offers. So things, offers, asks, or whatever. Two or three things that it could be. I will invite you onto a 15-minute discovery call, and that's your end goal for the call. Or what's the purpose of the discovery call? We're going to do a paid trial for a month or something like that, and then set a daily goal. Once you have your ICP and your offers and what you're actually asking, in place. Then set a daily no goal. So it could be 5 no's a day. So like 25 a week if you're doing Monday to Friday. And then create a visible no counter. So can't remember where I read this, but somebody um, he had like a box of paper clips, and he'd like an empty box and a full box of them. So he'd get a paper clip out every time he got a box, and he could have like a visual cue counter. So something like that's tangible, physical that you can see, so it stays kind of top of mind when you're doing your activities. Can be good. So that's kind of what you want to do in week one. Define your ICP, come up with your offer, your ask. So um, I'm going to, offer you a 15-minute discovery call, and then set, a daily how many no's you want to get a day, and then you can increase those because you want to increase, from 5 to, to 8 to 10, that kind of thing, as you get more efficient at what you're doing in you iteratively improve. So that's week one. Week two, you're going for more volume. You may be doing a bit of hygiene of your process and things like that. So make sure you're hitting your no goal daily. That's non-negotiable. If you do miss a day, there's got to be a really good reason. You got to kind of met that up the next day, kind of thing. So you've got to stick to it, yeah, to build your self-confidence in this process and to get your data as well. And then tracking everything. If you don't track it, you can't. If you don't measure, you cannot improve. So how many you've contacted. So in terms of cold calling, if you're doing that, in terms of that type of outbound, um, if you're doing outreach through cold calling, you want to be how many dials, how many people you speak to, how many decision makers, and how many calls you're booking. So it's like contacted conversations, asks, how many no's, how many yeses, how many next steps. Like your discovery call, or you've texted them a testimonial or a case study, or a landing page, something like that, or WhatsApp them a VSL or something like that, video sales letter. And then you want to then, at the end of week two, what I would do is I'd kind of do a debrief on each no. So were they not a good fit? Were the timing off? So they just signed up with somebody, or they're doing that review in 3 months. So you can call them back in 3 months. Are they just not a good fit? Is your messaging wrong? Can that be improved? And which channel do they just not like to be cold called? Can you try them, in another way? So you wanna then tweak from there, and then that can inform segmentation of your persona. Because some your ICP personas might prefer one particular message, and some might prefer another. So you can start to really kind of profile in that kind of way. And you can start to do that when you start to run like smart experiments in week three. So A/B subject lines for emails, different openers, different hooks, call structures, um, calls to action, and stuff like that. So if you're doing videos as well, like content marketing. So for example, you're cold calling, then somebody will go online and check, if you've got any videos and stuff like that, start watching your videos and stuff like that. So you can test your different hooks and stuff. So segmenting by persona, and then you want to be logging things in like a Google Sheet or your CRM, like conversion to conversation, uh, ask acceptance acceptance ask acceptance rate. A bit of a tongue twister that one. And then week four, you want to be like leveling up, really. So increasing your no goal. Let's say you're doing 5 a day, 25 a week. You want to be doing 8 a day or something like that. So increase your intensity, because you're more efficient. You can probably get more done in the same amount of time anyway, because you're getting into the swing of things. Um, and then you can add a bigger ask tier. So have you got like, something else you can ask? Have you got, maybe you've got a bit of business in that time, so you've got a case study under your belt, so you can leverage that, and you can charge more and stuff like that. And then by the end of week four, that's it. You've done kind of your month. I know there's 4 weeks, like 28 days. call it a month for this purpose. Uh, what have you learned from your failures? Because a lot of people that they learn from the wins, but they don't learn from the failures. That's where a lot of the learning is. So just to kind of wrap this up then, so micro tactics that you can use from today. This is day one, yeah. And please take action from this video. You know, if you're running a business and you're not getting enough business in, then you need to change something. You know, doing the same thing again and again, expecting different results, definition of insanity. So you look at your self-talk, do some affirmations to, you know, to mitigate, to overcome limiting beliefs. So reframe your self-talk. So each no pays for a future yes could be one affirmation that you do. Pre-permission. If this isn't a fit, feel free to say no quickly. Either way, I'll share a resource and give you some value for free. You know, because you're wanting that no quickly as well. You don't want to be on the phone for half an hour to somebody who's not a good fit. So you wanted to get that no for that purpose as well. Some kind of gentle persistence. So sounds like a no for now. When would be a good time to revisit? Maybe quarter one, quarter two next year, something like that. So don't. It's not necessary. It might be a surface level objection. The guard just might be going up. So you know, just make because there might be. Oh yeah, we're not even looking at that now. We've got other priorities, but they might be able to afford it, and they might need it. But it's just wrong timing and stuff like that. So gentle persistence. Don't necessarily give up at the first hurdle. Objection handling, except rebuttals, and then you can kind of upgrade your ask as well. So start small. Little insight share. Do you know that the stats say that most of your website visitors are going to be on mobile, 60-70%. We've got this kind of paid trial and then larger commitment if we get on in that first month kind of thing, if we're a good fit, and we work well together. So, and then kind of like a post-no learning prompt. So, yeah, totally fair. Uh, so I can improve. Was it timing, priority, uh, not a good fit, kind of like affordability, that kind of thing. So these are some little bits you can take away. Um, and yeah, so little self-talk before you do it, affirmations before you start your cold calling, stuff like that. So what metrics matter in this in Go for No? What are the actual metrics to track? So I've alluded to this earlier. No's per day, so 5 increasing to 8 or whatever you can do. Scale it, add leverage over people, automations if you can, that kind of thing. So we'll call it MPD, notes per day, and ask per day, APD. So this is what you want to be tracking, and then you ask acceptance rate. So your AAR. So this is it's kind of like your yeses to ask, and then your cycle speed. So time from first contact to decision. So this is your sales cycle, yeah. And then your learning velocity, documented changes per 10 no's. So why did I get those no's? So things like that. Yeah. So testing, measuring, all the time in business, not just scattergun, not just spray and pray and I'll try this for a bit and then I'll stop and then I'll change course and I'll do this and I'll stop and then I'll kind of retract and then I'll go into this again. That's how you don't make progress. You've got to make progress by moving forward, but moving forward, getting data and then acting on that knowledge and data. So learning from the failure. So look, you can pair this with other frameworks or anything like that, but this is just kind of my take on sales at quite a high level as well. I'm not going into massive detail or anything like that. I kind of mentioned the sales cadence and all that kind of thing, and a few little, things that you can say on a call and stuff like that. But really, you're looking at speaking to more people, speaking to more decision makers in particular, but also there's influencers as well. So, kind of just to wrap this up, a lot of people make a mistake of trying to get round the gatekeeper, and almost thinking that they don't matter. But the gatekeeper could be a good ally. There could be an influencer to decision makers. So find out, you know, a bit about them so you can call back next time and build some rapport and stuff like that. So there's lots to sales, but I'm hoping this can give you a start. So I'm Michael Greenwood. This has been how Go for No has helped me. Um, the other book that I would pair with this, and there's lots of books, which can help you on this kind of thing, but it's called Ready Fire Aim. So Ready Fire Aim is about it's like the opposite really of analysis paralysis. So a lot of people they think, right, I'm going to learn loads of stuff before I even take action. But you tend to find that the best entrepreneurs, they actually just have an idea, make a start to learn along the way, um, and then iterate. So it's like ship's captain. They've got a vague idea of where they know the destination, and they've got a goal, and they've got a vague idea of the route. But what if there's stormy weather or anything like that? So they make a start, but the course correct along the way. So Ready Fire Aim is about making a start, having an idea, making a start. Just pick up the phone, get used to it. If you've never called or anything like that. Um, what's the worst that can happen? You're going to get a no. You're going to get another no, but eventually you're going to get a yes, and then you're going to learn what works. But what I will say is document it and write down the reasons for the no's. Take notes, so important. Take notes. And if somebody says, "Oh, I'm busy right now, but can you call me back?" Call them back. If if it's not right time, call them back in 3 months. So use that little um, technique that I taught you. Just yeah, not a good time right now. Completely understand. Do you want to call? Do you want me to call you back in a few months' time? You can do like a A/B kind of thing. So do you want to call you back in 2 months or 3 months, which is better? And you can gauge if for 3 months, it might just be like they're trying to go for as longer, a longer amount of time and stuff like that. But yeah, that's good. And always you can share some free resources. If somebody's not a good fit because of affordability, as well, one day they might be able to afford it. Or you never know who they know as well who's in their network. So let's say you charge a minimum first order value of £1,000 or something like that, and somebody can only afford £100. What can you sell them for £100? Can you sell them a DIY course module, or something like that, or a course? Or can you send them a free resource? If you've got no money, can you send them a free resource? Okay, I'll send you this, and you can get to this level, and then you might become my ideal customer and all that kind of thing. So don't just disregard people and things like that as well. So anyway, I hope this has been useful. I'm Michael Greenwood talking about Go for No. Great book. Pair this with a few other books. I like lots of different books, but Ready Fire Aim is a great one as well. So love you and leave you, and see you next time.